Welcome to Life in Balance. In this episode, we will talk to Jackie Cabrera all the way from Lacey, Washington, about her journey with her diabetes. We will also find out how to prepare a healthy dessert with Jackie and to wrap it all up with Geri Cepeda for strength with yoga. All in this episode of Life in Balance.
Day. My name is Jackie Cabrera. I was born and raised in the island of Guam, but I am currently living here in Lacey, Washington, and have been a resident here for about 18 years already. So I was diagnosed with diabetes at age 11, so probably around 1984. I probably was a diabetic already before then, but at age 11 was when I was diagnosed. And it was basically because my bladder actually almost erupted. And so my mom had taken me to the clinic to see Dr. Santos. And I couldn't even walk straight. I had to bend over and not knowing what was going on with me. So as soon as I got into the clinic, the doctor had me go and do a urine testing. And it was one of those where I tried to urinate, but it was very hard. So the doctor was trying to get out whatever he could. And so he told my mom to bring me back in about a couple of hours after they get the results. But what had happened was as soon as they got the results, they had me go straight to Guam Memorial Hospital. And of course, I was kind of freaking out because I did not know what was going on. And my mom was very worried because instead of going back to the clinic, we went straight to the hospital. I was already all registered. They had me go straight into up in the private room. And back in the day, the pediatrics was in the 4th floor. And that's where we met the doctor. And from there, the doctor examined me, even to the part where they had to check my private area, just basically because they found the sugar in the urine at first. So after they did that, they had did some blood work, and very surprisingly, the doctor had mentioned to my mom that if we had waited another 3 days, maybe I would have been comatose because my sugar count was almost 900. And you know, when you're at that age at 11, you don't really know. You just kind of think, oh, I don't feel well. You don't realize why you're always thirsty, why you're always hungry. You don't really know what you would know today in regards to diabetes. So from there, after the blood work, I stayed in the hospital for 1 whole week. And I right away started on insulin. And I was taking, I believe back in the day, NPH and regular. I actually was shooting up twice a day. And so they had trained me to do that. And I was living with that from age 11 all the way up to age 29. I was on insulin. And so from there, that is where I lost my eyesight at age 29. And it happened overnight. So throughout all the years that I have been going through, I didn't really have much control, I guess, with my diabetes, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't deny it, and I guess because also the education back in the day is not like the way the education is today. And for me, I am age 49 now, and every time I think, what could I have done to actually help? But it was not only the food that I was eating, it was also stress and just not exercising and doing actually all that I have done in the past 21 years and trying to take better care of my health. So it's unfortunate that I lost my eyesight, but I still have all my other organs I'm trying to save and work on, and all my other senses. So it's basically just a drastic change in my eating, my exercising, and just the basic, simple stuff in life that we should be doing to have a better health. So I kind of wish that with what I know today, I wish that was the kind of life I was living back in the day. But I am not dwelling on that. I am just moving forward to where I am now. So living for as many years as I have with the insulin, I actually was taking better control over my diabetes with eating and exercising, and having people in my life to inspire me to just stay motivated. I actually was able to finally get off insulin. I am taking pills now, and the doctor, the time was Dr. Lizama. This was back home in Guam, and it's unfortunate I lost my eyesight. But he had asked me, every time I went in, my blood works were always coming in. Well, come to find out that I was having too much insulin. So that was what was causing me not to feel well. And so they did more testings, and so I just asked the question and asked if it would be possible if I can try the pills. And he was very hesitant, just basically because I've been on insulin, since I was really young. But I said, can we try it? And if it doesn't work, then I guess we can go back. Well, he did. He gave me 3 months to work on it, and the results, even just by the pills, because of my change of eating and my lifestyle, I was able to maintain. So from age 29 all the way up to this day, I am now actually only taking one medication for diabetes. I take it twice a day, but it's only one medication. Life is good. It's really all how we look at it. I've been living with my blindness for 21 years. I don't pray for my sight to come back, but I pray for more strength and courage to keep moving forward and to keep going forward, which was actually my first prayer when I first lost my eyesight overnight. And here I am, 21 years later, playing baseball. I have my certification in the culinary arts, and in my life, and when I leave this earth, I want to be able to leave with what I can do to help others and to make a difference in the lives of others. And I'll put it this way. To you and me, a grilled cheese is a grilled cheese. But to an 11-year-old blind boy, a grilled cheese and learning how to make a grilled cheese was the world to him. So if you can look at something like that, making a difference in the lives of others, and just how, at least for me, it brings me much joy and happiness, and I will continue to keep going. And I also find the strength in watching, I've seen both my parents struggle with their health. And so I'm trying to do what I can today to help myself, because you're given that opportunity, and that chance, so let's take it.
Coming up, we will learn how to cook a healthy dessert with Jackie Cabrera.
Hey, and we're back. So I'm Jackie Cabrera again, and now we're going to make another dessert, diabetic friendly pretty much, and it's one of our local favorites back home in Guam, the sweet tamales, otherwise known, could be called as tamales mandioca. But I'm going to do mine a little bit different. Usually we have them in foil. They make them like a little foil and they steam them in the steamers. But for mine, I'm actually going to steam bake it. So I'm going to mix it up. And after I mix it up, I'm actually going to take my banana leaf and put it in my baking pan. And I'll show you how it's done. So let's see what's cooking. For today, we have all our ingredients here. And I basically have 2 packages of frozen grated cassava. And these actually are equivalent to like a cup and a half. I've made this so much that's just pretty much, I just dump them all in. And I have some frozen coconut here. It's kind of hard to find fresh coconut, so I usually just get the frozen coconuts. And I've opened this already, but I'm going to use the other half for this tamales that we're going to be making. And along here, I have 2 cans of coconut milk. Right here, I like this brand. And I also have a can of young coconut. And this is also back home in Guam, the baby coconut, we call them the manha. And I think in Filipino, it's called like buko. And what makes this a little bit more diabetic friendly is I am actually going to use monk sugar. Monk sugar is great for whatever you want to sweeten up in your foods, and you don't get that real sugar effect, and it doesn't affect your glucose actually. So first of all, I am actually going to get my scissors and I'm going to cut up the 2 packages of the frozen grated cassava. I've tried this also with the fresh root, and that was great. I just had to grate them up, peel them, and otherwise here in the States it's also called yuca. So I'm just dumping them all in the cassava. I use my hands to scrape them out. I'm actually going to put a half cup of monk sugar. I've got my 1/4 cup here. So I'm actually going to do it twice, and that will be equivalent to my half cup. So I'm actually just going to pour it all over, around in here. And I've done this before, so I know the measurements already. Okay, and now I am just going to mix the sugar in with the frozen, well, it's all thawed out, the cassava and the coconut. So I've got that in here just so that the sugar can actually spread. And I'm using my hands with the spatula to help me rotate it around. So I have vanilla inside here. And the reason why I have it in this condiment bottle, again, is because it helps me to take control of the liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just actually whirling it around. And oh, that looks good. Can never have too much of vanilla. But if you were to actually put it in a spoon, you could put 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then what I am doing now is I am actually going to open up my 2 cans of coconut milk. And I'm going to pour it down into my mix. So I'm just punching holes in the cans of the coconut milk. And all I'm going to do is I am going to just pour it in. These cans of coconut milk is almost equivalent to like about 2 cups. So I got 1 in there and 1 right here. And all I'm doing now is I'm actually just stirring up the coconut milk in with the cassava and the coconut. So I've got my milk inside here now. So what I'm actually going to do, the last thing I need to do is just add my young coconut. And I'm going to open that up in a second. And it's right here. We don't use the juice, so I have my plastic colander here, and I'm just going to strain it. So I'm pouring down the young coconut into my mixture that has already the cassava, the grated coconut, the vanilla, and my monk sugar. And what I'm going to do now is just stir it up, make sure it's all mixed in, and I'm just using my hands to just kind of feel around a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I just have to grease up my pan. I got my pan right here, and what I did was I actually sprayed it with the non-stick spray. You could use Pam or vegetable oil or whichever. And all I did was I just rubbed it all around all the sides and down over here in the middle. And so I've got my banana leaves here, and I'm going to actually spread it here place it onto my pan. I've kind of like pre-measured, just cutting it a little bit earlier. So just cut this part right here. So a lot of it is by feel. Okay, so I'm pushing it down along here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my spray, and I'm actually going to just spray all my banana leaf areas around here. So the spray, of course, helps to keep the tamales from sticking. Now that we're all greased up over here, all I'm going to do is take my mix here. So one more time before I, oops, it's right here. Thought it was in the front. Okay, and now I'm pouring it into my pan on top of the banana leaf, because this is what we want to do, because we want to get that beautiful banana leaf smell. That really reminds me of back home. Makes me so mahaling sometimes. Okay, so now that that's all in here, I'm going to just kind of bounce this off to make sure that it levels itself. So the weight will bring it down, and it sure did. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to, you can either fold it in, the banana leaves, or you can actually trim it. And that's pretty much what I like to do. What's going to happen after this is done, we're going to cut them like in little squares. It's just like the way you would do a cassava cake. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is put a final little banana leaf right on top. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it. And this actually just kind of helps to give it more of a, like I said, the banana smell. Oh, it's amazing. So I've sprayed that, and I'm actually turning it down, the spray side, down on top. It won't sink down. It'll just stay right on top. And oops, got a little butter hanging out here. Okay, so it's right on top, and there it's just about ready to go. And I'm going to take my foil. Okay. Got my foil, I'm taking, and I'm actually going to cover my baking dish, my baking pan, right on top, because the covering it with the foil is actually gonna make it steam bake. And I leave this in the oven at 300 degrees for 2 hours. And I know some may think that it's a little bit long, but it actually, when you cook it at a lower temperature for that long, it actually makes it have a nice soupy, creamy texture to it. And I'll keep them steamed for 2 hours in there, and then what I do after the 2 hours, I take it, pull it out, and remove the foil, and then put it in for another 30 minutes, and I let it cook out without the foil. And you want to see magic? Look what I found! Same copy as the one I did earlier, just finished. So I'm gonna peel this banana leaf. Oh, look how nice it comes off. Very smooth. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of cut the corner here, even if it's not a perfect cut, because I just want to be able to cut a little square. And I'm gonna pick it up. Come on, and look how smooth it comes out. See, and there we go. You have the tamales right there in your hands.
Up next, it's yoga with Geri Cepeda at the beautiful Akanta Business Center.
Hi, thanks for joining me. Through the next few yoga sequences, I invite you to take deep breaths through each move, remembering to do only as much as you feel comfortable with. And don't forget, yoga is for everybody and everybody. So do only as much as you're comfortable, and let's get started. You can keep your toes together or slightly further apart. Inhaling here, firming up your thighs, engaging your core, rolling your shoulders back and down as you reach down to the ground. Inhaling here, and exhaling. Inhaling on the next one, as much as you're able, bring your arms up overhead or just in front of you if that's what you're comfortable with. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, one more time. On the next exhale, we'll fold all the way down, letting your head hang. Inhaling here and exhaling. I invite you to bring your hands forward flat on the ground as we move into downward facing dog, bringing your feet back. You can keep your heels up if you need to, pushing away from the mat and making an upside down V. If this is challenging, and I know it is, you can always do downward dog from your forearms and bringing your knees up into dolphin pose. Inhaling here and exhaling, pushing away from the mat, bringing your knees down and coming up to table. Think about 4 strong table legs with your hands, pushing away from the mat, maybe bringing your toes down and moving to plank. Again, if this is challenging, you can do it from your forearms, bringing your knees up, making a straight line between your head down to your feet, or if you'd like to try regular plank, experiment with what works for you, pushing your hands, pushing away from the mat, bringing your knees up, and inhaling here, exhaling. Take a little break as much as you need to. Go down to table and try again, or move into cat and cow. Inhaling here with cow, dropping your stomach, looking forward. As you exhale into cat, think about arching your back. As you exhale, inhale for another cycle, and exhale. I like to end with child's pose, pushing back onto your heels and extending your arms forward, resting your head down. If you can't quite reach, you can make 2 fists with your hands. Rest your forehead there. And ending with a simple cross-legged easy pose. If you'd like to really just wrap everything up, thank yourself for spending some time with yourself. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Thank you for joining me.